Humans will eat anything once, especially if someone dares them or calls it artisanal. 1. The Toe Cocktail, Canada. Let's start with something you'll wish we hadn't. In Dawson City, Canada, there's a bar that serves a cocktail garnished with, wait for it, a real, preserved human toe. It's called the Sour Toe Cocktail, and yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. Patrons clink glasses, down their drink, and make sure the toe touches their lips to prove their courage, or insanity. The original toe came from a frostbite victim in the 1920s, and since then, others have donated replacements after unfortunate accidents. Lose a toe? Congrats, you're bar garnish now. It's basically Fear Factor meets Happy Hour. 2. The Cheese That Crawls, Italy. Some foods fight back. Casu marzu is a Sardinian delicacy that's technically illegal because it's made by letting cheese rot until it's alive, with maggots. Locals claim it's best eaten while the larvae are still wriggling. That's not flavor, that's movement. It's said to have a tingly sensation, which is really just your tongue wondering why you've betrayed it. And the bravest diners lean in before it jumps, literally. The maggots can leap up to 6 inches. It's the only food that comes with an eye protection warning. 3. The candy made from coal, USA. America once tried to make eating coal seem festive. Coal candy was a 20th century Christmas tradition where adults gave black, shiny sugar lumps to naughty kids as a joke. But here's the kicker. Some families went full commitment mode and flavored it to taste like actual coal tar. Because nothing says holiday spirit like carcinogens in a stocking. It was the era when parenting advice came from cartoons and FDA oversight was more of a polite suggestion. 4. The snake wine, Vietnam. Imagine opening a bottle of wine and finding a cobra staring back at you. That's snake wine, a traditional tonic in parts of Asia, where venomous snakes are pickled whole in rice wine or whiskey. Supposedly, it boosts vitality. Realistically, it boosts your therapist's retirement fund. The venom is neutralized by the alcohol. But the visual trauma? Permanent. It's the kind of drink that makes tequila worms look like child's play. And if you're wondering, yes, people sometimes eat the snake afterward. Because why waste a perfectly good corpse? 5. The deep-fried butter, USA. Leave it to America to look at butter and say, what if it was less healthy? At the Iowa State Fair, someone decided to batter and deep-fry pure butter, serve it on a stick, and call it food. It's like eating a heart attack that skipped the middleman. Fans describe it as melty and comforting, which is exactly how cardiologists describe their worst nightmares. But hey, it's part of the great American tradition, turning every household staple into a golden deep-fried dare. 6. The balut egg, Philippines. Balut is proof that humans looked at an egg and thought, this could be more disturbing. It's a fertilized duck egg that's been incubated just long enough for a tiny, half-formed duck embryo to appear inside. You crack it open, season it with salt, and slurp down what is simultaneously an egg, a bird, and a bad decision. Locals consider it a delicacy, but first-time tourists tend to reconsider their entire belief system after the first crunch. It's described as rich and savory, which is food code for don't ask what part you just bit into. 7. The coffee made from poop, Indonesia. Kopi Luwak is one of the most expensive coffees in the world. The beans are eaten, digested, and, yes, defecated by a small civet cat. Afterward, humans collect the beans, clean them, and brew them into 100 a cup coffee. That's right, people are paying a week's grocery bill to drink recycled cat snacks. Supposedly, the digestion process improves the flavor, which sounds like an excuse invented by someone caught picking beans out of droppings. The taste is said to be earthy and smooth, I'll bet. So is the original source. 8. The Bull Testicle Festival, USA. In small towns across the American Midwest, people gather every year for the Testicle Festival. The main dish? Deep-fried bull testicles, affectionately called Rocky Mountain oysters. It's a family event, because nothing brings people together like watching Grandpa dip a gonad in ranch sauce. The dish supposedly tastes like chicken, but so does everything we regret eating. The only thing more confusing than the menu is the fact that they serve it with live music and carnival rides. Because if you're going to eat what used to be a reproductive organ, you might as well do it to the sound of country music. 9. The jellyfish salad, China. Some cuisines treat jellyfish as a threat. Others treat it as lunch. In China, it's served cold in vinegar and sesame oil, described as crunchy. which is concerning because jellyfish don't have bones. It's like chewing on a memory foam sandal dipped in soy sauce. The texture alone could qualify as psychological warfare. But credit where it's due, turning a literal ocean hazard into an appetizer shows impressive commitment to the eat your enemies philosophy. Somewhere, Poseidon's shaking his head. 10. The 17th century mummy medicine, Europe. For centuries, Europeans believed powdered mummies cured everything from headaches to heartbreak. Apothecaries ground up real Egyptian mummies and sold the dust as medicine. It was so popular that when they ran out of ancient corpses, entrepreneurs just made fake ones from criminals. Imagine walking into a pharmacy and the clerk says, "Would you like aspirin or human remains?" It's history's worst health trend, literally consuming the past. They called it mumia. We call it archaeological cannibalism. 11. The ketchup cure, Victorian era, USA. Back in the 1830s, Americans briefly believed ketchup could cure diseases. Dr. John Cook Bennett, a man who apparently confused condiments with medicine, bottled tomato ketchup as a miracle cure for indigestion, jaundice, and even depression. He sold it in pill form, basically the first chewable placebo. For a glorious few years, people were literally popping ketchup tablets for health. It's the kind of idea that could only exist in an era when medical science and lunchtime cravings shared a laboratory. Eventually, real doctors pointed out that ketchup's only proven effect was making fries taste better. 12. The century egg, China. If you've ever wanted to taste what time itself feels like, meet the century egg. It's a preserved duck egg aged for weeks or months in clay and lime until the white turns brown and the yolk turns greenish-black. The smell? Somewhere between sulfur, regret, and that one co-worker's forgotten lunch in the break room fridge. Fans swear it's delicious, calling it creamy and umami-rich. Detractors call it something that hatched in the upside down. Either way, it's a food that dares your nose to stay in the same room as your mouth. 13. The fried tarantula, Cambodia. At some point in Cambodia's history, someone looked at a giant spider and said, "Dinner." The result? Crispy fried tarantulas, now a popular street food. They are marinated with sugar, garlic, and salt, deep-fried until crunchy, and served whole, legs, fangs, and all. Tourists describe it as a mix between crab and trauma. The legs are said to be crunchy, but the abdomen? Let's just say it's creamy in a way no one asked for. You can wash it down with a beer or an existential crisis. 14. The pickled pig's feet, Southern USA. No southern convenience store deli is complete without a jar of pickled pig's feet floating in pink vinegar. They're tangy, chewy, and impossible to eat without feeling like you're reenacting a biology class. The tradition dates back to the Great Depression, when wasting food was unthinkable. If it was attached to an animal, it was dinner. Today, they're a nostalgic snack for some and a double dare for everyone else. The texture's been described as gelatinous, which is southern for don't make eye contact while eating it. 15. The surströmming, Sweden. Sweden's contribution to the global "why would anyone eat that" contest is surströmming. Fermented herring so pungent, it's banned on some airlines. You open the can outdoors, because if you don't, you'll need a new home. The smell has been described as rotting fish meets old gym socks and broken dreams. Swedes defend it as a delicacy, but let's be honest, it's a culinary hazing ritual. Even the most patriotic locals admit it's an acquired taste, preferably acquired by someone else. 16. The cashew fruit poison, Brazil. Cashews come from a tropical fruit that looks harmless enough, until you realize the shell is filled with acid strong enough to burn skin. In Brazil, locals eat the sweet, tangy fruit raw, carefully avoiding the shell like it's a live grenade. The irony? The delicious juice is refreshing, but harvesting it can land you in the hospital. It's nature's way of saying, you want the good stuff? Earn it. Basically, it's fruit roulette. 17. The century soup, ancient China. Legend says Chinese emperors once enjoyed a soup that had been continuously simmering for over a century. Each day, chefs added new ingredients, meat, herbs, spices, but never let the pot go cold. Some families reportedly maintained their soups for decades, calling them perpetual broths. It's the culinary equivalent of a family heirloom that smells like beef stock. By year 10, the flavor was apparently complex. By year 50, it was probably sentient. If bacteria had a religion, This soup would be their holy site. 18. The tuna eyeball, Japan. Japan gave the world sushi, sashimi, and, somehow, tuna eyeballs the size of golf balls. Sold in grocery stores and cooked like tiny staring steaks, these ocean orbs are considered delicacies rich in protein and omega-3s. Diners claim they taste like squid, which is a polite way of saying they taste like fear. When you boil them, the cornea turns opaque white, like it's judging your life choices in real time. Some people pair them with soy sauce, others just stare back and quietly rethink every decision that led them to this moment. 19. The chocolate-covered insects, Mexico. In Mexico, they've been eating bugs since long before it became a hip, sustainable protein thing in LA. Crickets, grasshoppers, and even ant larvae get roasted, salted, and dunked in chocolate. The result is what every diet influencer now calls ethical snacking, even though it looks like Halloween candy gone rogue. It's crunchy, nutty, and full of protein. But the first crunch is mostly emotional damage. Still, at least this trend proves one thing. The line between adventurous and unhinged depends entirely on how much cocoa you add. 20. The sheep's head feast, Iceland. Iceland has a traditional dish called svid, a boiled sheep's head, served whole, eyeballs and all. It began as a way to avoid wasting food during long winters, and it remains a proud piece of culinary heritage. The head is singed to remove the wool, split in half, and boiled until tender. You eat it with potatoes, and occasionally, a priest. The cheeks are considered the best part, but the eyes are for the brave, or the heavily dared. It's a dish that proves necessity isn't just the mother of invention. Sometimes it's the father of horror. 21. The bat soup, Palau and Guam. In the Pacific Islands, fruit bat soup was once considered a delicacy and a sign of hospitality. The entire bat, fur, wings, face, is boiled in coconut milk, spices, and broth. The flavor is described as wild game meats, nightmare. Tourists often mistake it for a joke until the bowl arrives, and something with a tiny face is staring back. To be fair, the locals say it's delicious, and who are we to judge a culture that treats Batman like comfort food? But still, it's one of those meals that makes you wish your spoon came with therapy. 22. The poisonous fish, Japan. The Japanese delicacy fugu, or pufferfish, contains a neurotoxin 1,200 times deadlier than cyanide. One wrong slice, and your dinner becomes your obituary. Only licensed chefs can prepare it, after years of training and government tests. It's basically sushi roulette. Diners claim part of the thrill is the tingling sensation from trace amounts of toxin, a culinary flirtation with death. It's the only meal where your Yelp review could double as a final note, and yet people line up for it, because apparently adrenaline pairs beautifully with wasabi. 23. The pickled sheep eyeballs, Mongolia. Mongolia takes hangover cures to terrifying heights. The traditional remedy is a cocktail of pickled sheep's eyeballs floating in tomato juice. Locals swear it restores balance, though it mostly restores your will to never drink again. It's like a Bloody Mary that lost a bet. The eyeballs supposedly provide nutrients and hydration, but mostly they provide trauma. There's a certain poetry in it, though. You wake up blurry-eyed, and your breakfast is literally looking back at you. 24. The buttered popcorn ice cream, USA. Leave it to America to take butter, popcorn, and ice cream, three unrelated concepts, and create a Frankenstein dessert. Buttered popcorn ice cream started as a novelty flavor and now haunts freezers nationwide. It's sweet, salty, and somehow tastes exactly like regret and movie theater floors. It's what happens when chefs run out of boundaries and dare each other to weaponize dairy. Some swear it's sophisticated, others swear at it. Either way, it's proof that American innovation knows no mercy. 25. The blood pudding, UK and Ireland. The British Isles have given us tea, Shakespeare, and sausage made of blood. Black pudding is a breakfast staple made by mixing pig's blood with oats, fat, and spices, then frying it until crispy. It's beloved by locals, feared by tourists, and generally described as rich and savory, which is polite for iron-flavored regret. It's technically illegal to import to some countries, which makes sense. Nothing says morning energy like digesting a crime scene. Still, millions swear by it. because nothing gets you ready for the day like starting it with Dracula's smoothie in sausage form. 26. The Spam Sushi, Hawaii, USA. Hawaii somehow turned a World War II ration into an art form. Spam musubi is a sushi roll made with grilled spam on a block of rice, wrapped in seaweed. It's cheap, salty, and beloved across the islands, proof that even canned mystery meat can find redemption with enough soy sauce. Locals love it. Tourists eat it like a dare. The texture sits somewhere between comfort food and culinary prank, but it's addictive. The only problem? Once you've had 3, you start to understand why America has the world's highest sodium intake and the happiest beach barbecues. 27. The coffee enema craze, California, USA. Only in California could someone look at coffee and think, you know what would make this better? A hose. The coffee enema trend claims to detoxify your body and stimulate energy flow. What it really stimulates is regret. Celebrities swore by it, health blogs promoted it, and doctors collectively screamed into the void. The logic was simple. If caffeine wakes you up, why not wake everything up? Spoiler, it doesn't cleanse your soul, just your dignity. It's the only beverage that comes with a trigger warning and a plumbing bill. 28. The bird's nest. Soup, China. This might sound like something you'd feed to a baby bird, but in China, it's a luxury dish made from the hardened saliva of swiftlets. Yes, literal spit. The bird's nests are dissolved into broth, creating a gelatinous soup that costs more per ounce than gold. It's marketed as good for the skin, which is probably true if you can look at yourself in the mirror afterward. The texture? Like warm mucus. The taste? Mostly prestige. You're not buying a meal. You're buying the bragging rights to say, I once spent $200 eating spit. 29. The fried Kool-Aid, USA. County fairs across America are where deep fryers go to achieve enlightenment. Someone decided Kool-Aid, yes, the drink mix, wasn't sugar-forward enough, so they deep-fried it. The result looks like a crime scene at a candy factory. Bright red dough balls that taste like strawberry sadness and childhood obesity. It's what happens when a nation collectively decides that no food should escape the fryer unscathed. Fried butter? Been done. Fried Oreos? Old news. Fried Kool-Aid? That's diabetes on a stick. And somehow, people still line up for it like it's religion. 30. The mouse wine, China. If you thought snake wine was bad, China said, hold my bottle. Mouse wine is made by fermenting baby mice, yes, infant rodents, in rice wine. It's considered a traditional tonic for asthma and liver ailments, though it mostly cures your appetite. The process involves drowning the newborn mice alive in alcohol, which somehow makes it worse and better. Worse morally, better microbiologically. Locals say it warms the body. Outsiders say it haunts their dreams. It's the kind of drink that reminds you, science can explain how, but never why. 31. The Spaghetti-O Jello Ring, 1950s USA. The 1950s were a lawless time for American cuisine. Housewives were armed with gelatin molds and zero restraint. Enter the Spaghetti-O Jello Ring, canned pasta suspended in lime gelatin, sometimes garnished with hot dogs. It was the culinary embodiment of post-war optimism and mid-century madness. Every bite screamed, we just discovered food coloring and we're not afraid to use it. Recipes like this didn't die out. They were quietly buried by future generations in the section of cookbooks labeled Never Again. 32. The tar soup, 19th century Russia. During one particularly brutal Russian winter, peasants discovered that pine tar, yes, the thick black stuff used to waterproof boats, could be thinned with hot water and eaten for warmth. It wasn't pleasant, but it was calories, and it probably gave them the ability to breathe through car exhaust. Tar soup was supposedly earthy, which is a generous way of saying inedible. It's a culinary relic from an era when the phrase, eat whatever keeps you alive, wasn't a metaphor. It was the dinner menu. 33. The toilet restaurant, Taiwan. Just when you thought humanity had peaked, Taiwan opened Modern Toilet, a restaurant where every dish is served in miniature toilets. The seats are toilets. The bowls are toilets. The ice cream served in the shape of poop. It's a theme restaurant so committed to the bit it loops back to genius. The concept began as a joke and somehow became a national sensation. Tourists laugh, locals cringe, and the plumbing industry collectively beams with pride. It's the only place in the world where dessert and digestion are part of the same aesthetic experience. 34. The live octopus, Korea. In South Korea, some diners take the concept of fresh seafood way too literally. Sanakji is raw baby octopus served still squirming on the plate. You drizzle it with sesame oil, grab the wriggling tentacles with chopsticks, and hope your dinner doesn't fight back. It's known for its lively texture, which is culinary code for it's still trying to escape. Every year, a few people choke when the suction cups latch onto their throats mid-bite, proof that this dish comes with both flavor and risk. It's not a meal, it's a duel. 35. The camel hump feast, Middle East. In parts of the Middle East, camel hump is considered a delicacy, prized for its tender fat. It's roasted, spiced, and served to honored guests, because nothing says welcome like a literal lump of desert storage. The texture is described as buttery, which makes sense since it's basically nature's meat-flavored butter stick. Some people even pickle it, turning the world's largest land mammal into the world's weirdest charcuterie. It's extravagant, it's ancient, and it's the only meal that can double as emergency fuel. 36. The century-old eggnog, USA. Every year, there's at least one American family that insists on aging their eggnog for a year or more in the fridge, claiming it develops character. In reality, it develops penicillin. This bizarre holiday tradition traces back to the colonial era when refrigeration was a luxury and food poisoning was a family sport. The recipe? Raw. Eggs, cream, booze, and blind faith. Modern enthusiasts say the alcohol keeps it safe. Scientists say, good luck with that. It's nostalgia mixed with botulism, a real taste of the holidays. 37. The jelly moose nose, Canada. Up north, early trappers made sure nothing went to waste, including the moose's nose. The dish involves boiling, peeling, and setting the gelatinous nose meat into a wobbly mold. The result is jellied moose nose, a dish so Canadian it apologizes for existing. The flavor's been described as meaty jello, which is somehow worse than it sounds. But hey, when you're trapped in the Yukon in 1890, you eat what you have, and apparently what you have is a snout that's one bad joke away from sliding off the plate. 38. The Spam Milkshake, USA. When a fast food chain in the 1950s decided to promote Spam, someone thought blending it into a vanilla milkshake was marketing genius. It wasn't. The Spam Shake was advertised as sweet and savory harmony, which really meant ham-flavored nightmare. It lasted one summer before quietly vanishing into corporate shame. Urban legends say it briefly returned at a Minnesota state fair, where brave souls claimed it tasted like breakfast in regret form. It's proof that even America has limits, and they begin right where pork meets dairy. 39. The corn smut, Mexico. Known locally as wheat lacoche, corn smut is a fungus that infects corn kernels, turning them gray and bulbous. Farmers used to see it as crop disease until someone tasted it and declared it delicious. Now it's called Mexican truffle because apparently good branding can fix anything. It's earthy, smoky, and served in tacos or soups. It's also technically still a plant infection. Eating it is like saying, I could have had corn, but I chose mold. And honestly, that's a very human sentence. 40. The puffin heart, Iceland. In Iceland, puffins are more than cute birds. They're dinner. Traditionally, locals hunted puffins on cliffs, smoked their meat, and ate the heart raw as a delicacy. The taste is described as iron-rich and intense, which is Nordic for you'll never forget this flavor or the guilt. Conservationists now discourage the practice, but it survives in old recipes and tourist tales. It's the kind of meal that makes you question evolution. How did a bird so adorable end up as something that pairs with red wine? 41. The Lickable Wall, UK. In London, a pop-up art exhibit once featured a wall covered entirely in lickable wallpaper flavored like various fruits. Inspired by Willy Wonka, the installation encouraged visitors to taste the rainbow. Unfortunately, after a few hundred tongues, the wall became less artistic experience and more biohazard. Health inspectors shut it down after discovering the lemon section had mysteriously turned into mystery. It was the world's first exhibit to combine creativity, community, and communicable disease in one interactive masterpiece. 42. The Goat's Blood Energy Drink, South Africa. Forget Red Bull. In South Africa, a short-lived health tonic mixed goat's blood with milk and herbs, promising stamina, focus, and virility. It was essentially an ancient protein shake that could also summon demons. The drink was banned after reports of severe illness and uncontrollable mooing. Still, for a brief moment in history, it proved that humans will drink anything, especially if it comes in a bottle that says Boost. 43. The Air Sandwich, Japan. In one of the strangest marketing experiments ever, a Japanese convenience store once sold air sandwiches. The packaging promised a low-calorie meal, and it delivered literally nothing. It was 2 slices of plastic film labeled 0 fat, 0 carbs, 0 flavor. People still bought it, either for the novelty or out of existential despair. It was performance art disguised as diet food, proof that in the age of marketing, you don't need a product, just confidence and shrink wrap. 44. The Human Hair Candy, Victorian England. Victorians had a fascinating mix of elegance and insanity. Case in point, sugar candies made from human hair. The keratin was boiled, purified, and mixed into sugar confections as a novelty. It was sold at fairs as angel floss. Imagine biting into a sweet and realizing you're technically chewing someone's highlights. It's the 19th century equivalent of a horror movie snack. Delightful until you read the ingredients. 45. The Pizza with Rattlesnake Meat, Arizona, USA. In the land of endless fast food experimentation, one Arizona pizzeria said, "Pepperoni's too basic." They started topping pies with real rattlesnake meat and cactus. Tourists loved it. Locals shrugged like it was Tuesday. The meat reportedly tastes like chicken, proving once again that chicken is the universal flavor of denial. They even offered it with extra venom sauce. Because if your pizza doesn't come with a side of danger, are you really living? 46. The Garbage Plate, New York, USA. Rochester, New York's greatest gift to late-night cuisine is called the Garbage Plate. It's a mountain of macaroni salad, home fries, baked beans, meat, cheese, and hot sauce, all mashed together in one glorious heap. It looks like roadkill, but tastes like salvation after 3 beers. Locals swear by it as a hangover cure. Outsiders see it as a cry for help. It's the only meal that perfectly captures the American dream. Messy, excessive, and deeply satisfying if you don't think too hard about it. 47. The Brain Sandwich, Indiana, USA. Once a staple of the American Midwest, the fried brain sandwich was exactly what it sounds like. A slab of cow or pig brain, battered, fried, and served on a bun. It was popular until the phrase "mad cow disease" made headlines, at which point everyone collectively said, "You know what? Maybe not." The texture was mushy, the flavor metallic, and the aftertaste philosophical. It's one of those dishes that makes you appreciate modern food safety laws and the invention of literally any other protein. 48. The Placenta Smoothie, modern USA. And here it is, the grand finale of culinary chaos. Some modern parents, embracing the all-natural trend a little too hard, blend their own placenta into smoothies, claiming it boosts recovery and mood. Science says it's pointless. Humanity says, pass the blender. You can order it freeze-dried, encapsulated, or mixed with strawberries for flavor. It's the only drink that makes you question both evolution and brunch culture at the same time. If cavemen could see us now, they'd probably go back to eating rocks. And there you have it. 48 times humanity looked at food and said, "Yeah, I'll try that." From toe cocktails to placenta shakes, we've proven one universal truth. If it exists, someone has deep-fried it, fermented it, or called it gourmet. So, which of these culinary crimes deserves a Michelin star or a restraining order? Tell me in the comments, and remember, curiosity may not kill the cat, but it definitely ruins dinner.